Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome yourselves back to season 52 of Essentials coverage of the ETF2L top division, not Premiership. A little bit different this season. We are covering it the top division, but we should be covering two teams here who you would have probably seen in Prem either way. We are going to be seeing the odds versus ALPHAGLΩCK in this match tonight. I am joined by Ben PL on production, and Nighty is going to be my co-caster tonight. How are we feeling about this game, Nighty?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. There's some veterans of Prem from seasons long gone, and I think it'd be quite good. There's lots of familiar faces and lots of great talent. I reckon that these two teams will be in the runnings to maybe win the division. So, no, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be great. And the maps as well, lots of DM-heavy maps, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, going to be starting off on a process as our first map and then continuing on to Sunshine. So yeah, have you said two two maps very well known here. No funny business going on. Both of these teams having a lot of experience, as you said. Looking at actually those rosters quickly, the odds actually come with a core of 3 players who did win Autumn Season 23 with Flick, Matez, and June. Actually, I think it might have been Zams as well during that. As well. So a lot of experience coming in on that team, as well as having June on that Poland winning team. You've got to think that this is going to be a strong roster, and then finishing things up is going to be Rutu and KM. Rutu, a bit of a dark horse for me. No wins in his first Prem season, but obviously the team's seeing something in him. And then KM coming in replacement as Ryan for that team, for this team. I think is really solid. I don't think you can get much better of a soldier just to kind of fit in.
Oh no, 100%. KN is even at LAN was incredible and is always a solid performer. I have to admit I don't know too much about Rutu, so I'm looking forward to getting acquainted with him in this game. But no, I think you're right. A very strong roster from this. Even a couple of LAN winners here in this team. So no, I think it's very strong. June is on med as well as one of the best meds, if not the best med in the world at the moment. So no, I think this team will do very well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then on the other side, we can have a little look at ALPHAGLΩCK. Some names you've definitely seen before here: Jockster, Banu, Ams, all these players who have some storied history. A couple change-ups. Jockster usually known for his medic, but is going to be on the scouts today, so that should be interesting. And then we have Vanu accompanying Maki and Ams on Soldier, Cyrus on demo, and it is going to be Maurice on the medic as we are rolling out onto our first mid here. Going to be all eyes on Zam. Can he put out some extraordinary damage? Seems like he's kind of got them locked in. Soldiers are bombing over now onto this blue side. They've gotten a lot of space on these crates, but the first kill is going towards the blue team here. Cyrus going down. Another retaking the space. Can Mackie find this pick? He cannot. And it is going to be the side of the odds winning this first mid here.
Yeah, I mean that was dominant, getting the great picks early and just managing to roll the momentum. They were out rotating and just the vast amount of DM there. They were very good. If they didn't end up winning that mid, that would have been quite concerning. But no, they've done very well, and it's looking like to be just the last hold set up here from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK.
Yeah, losing their medic there, of Maurice or Hyman Slayer, is going to make things a little more difficult for them to hold here, as it is the side of the odds opting to go in through this lobby area. Going to be popping that Uber on the 4 door, focusing down that central first, and you want to try to take the high ground here, or you want to try to play some point capture time here. Do get a lot here. Will it be a 3 first round? It won't, as Sams goes down, Ken goes down. It's Patchouli running for his life as basically the lone survivor does manage to find himself a Matez on the way out and will luckily survive.
Yeah, I mean that was really well defended inside of ALPHAGLΩCK. Not losing their med. Now they come in rolling into second, down to mid, the massive amount of Uber charge. Their Jux are doing a lot of work there, along with Maki getting picking up great picks here and managing to block the point when they needed to. So no, very good last hold from ALPHAGLΩCK, and now it'll be an Uber ad push into mid here, unless they can find the med. No, we can't. Pop Uber just in time, and now they're gonna be on the hunt looking for picks. Barney's coming into sewer, chasing down his soldier, but he's not going to find it, and now the Uber ends, and they're just going to opt to take the midpoint here.
Yeah, great job kiting it out there from the odds. That's their experience showing when they just know exactly where to play to keep all 6 players alive, and now they're allowed to kind of come back in for free. Capital Soldiers sending some spam, but it is just the Chariot of Zam taking things through. They will, in return, however, on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK, manage to escape here. So it's not the worst thing, but they're still on a big Uber disadvantage here. 50% dis-ad as they walk their way in on the side of the odds, just taking all this space for free. 70% on that Medigun of Hyman Slayer. They're going to have to go fast if they want to make anything of this, but they are already into lobby here, looking to take it onto Flick into this free area here. Ubers have evened up on both teams here. They should realize this on the side of the odds, but they're just getting a lot of space in through these doors, taking down the sentry early, so that's not to worry about. It's just kind of Vanu up on the heavy, making things a little difficult. They decide to back it out for now. Help's a little too low on a couple players, but it was a little close. I feel like they had an opportunity to maybe go in there, but that medic may be playing a little too far back to really commit on.
Yeah, 100% agree. What was great as well is the fact they just took all that space needing to use the Uber, so they managed to take second, and now they're in a great position for an even fight here on last without even needing to use. They could try and take this quick through one side, get as many players through as they can, end on heaven, but otherwise opting for sack, seeing what they can get with both their soldiers. And they are going to landing a rocket onto Hyman Slayer, but no follow-up damage coming up there, and that seems to be the sack wave, and now they're going to look to leave maybe to pipes.
Yeah, they lost 3 in that. Rutu obviously goes down during it as well, and maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe they struggle to get out, but Flick got caught in lobby as well, so completely opened up second for ALPHAGLΩCK just to walk into freely here. However, Ubers are even, so they need to kind of make a miracle play happen. It is Ams and Vanu actually on the spy, sorry. So this could be the difference maker. Can he find his decoy? Can he find the kill here?
Oh, he does! Incredible there from Vanu. Speaking of the miracle pick, Vanu, known for his up-class coming on the spy, and finally pick on Patrulli. That might be the signal that they need to get aggressive here with a full Uber advantage, and to come in on this mid. Get good bomb into choke. They do manage to get the Uber out, but they're losing players left, right, and center. And they're looking like just to leave their choke. Rutu maybe trying to find a pick of his own. He does manage to find Ams. That's all he'll find, and then he's going to back off onto second. And I think that's all she wrote for that fight.
I mean, did a really great job. Well, obviously they did have to use that Uber. It's not what they would have wanted. They tried to send those soldiers in aggressively to make things a little bit difficult for them to get in, but they did have to pop. But Hyman just saved absolutely every single player. Those bombs, that scout that came through, it was the only player who went down was Ams trying to fight a scout in the background who still alive here. Ams is going to be fighting him once again in the background. Will he lose for a second time? Looks like they're just playing a game of chicken.
Rutu, no, not the end. If I were Rutu, I'd have just chased that into choke and see if we get the kill, but no, he thinks better of it. Yeah, there is this odd game in the back. Maybe Rutu can try and get in through choke, trying to find some damage onto that head, but I think he thinks better of it and just sort of tries to be nuisance.
That pressure in the back is so strong though, because it's completely allowed the side of the odds to get back in here, into that mid. However, forced in by the bombs coming in a little bit late, maybe playing a little too passively, not playing quite well enough on that advantage. And now they give him full Uber advantage towards the side of ALPHAGLΩCK here. And they are basically 2 players down on each side as well. So, gonna take this opportunity. Gotta be careful. You don't want Hyman just to use for nothing here. This scout coming in does get the shot. Flick manages to force the Uber here, but 2 players down here, 2 crucial players down as well, as they're now getting in through 1 on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. This is a good opportunity for kind of the underdogs of this match to try to get in, but so much space just being made by KN, just jumping here, there, and everywhere. Mackie on the paint is going to get a lot of time. Mackie gets it to 99% on the point. Can anyone get close? It's the bomb in from Abs. He can't get anything. The rest of his team trying to follow up. Can they get enough damage? It's an overextend from Cyrus. It's just Juxta and Hyman left alive, and their last push has crumbled, but it was a valiant effort from Mackie. But look at this! He's in so deep! Can he get a final shot?
Oh, he can't. Incredible job there, at least from Juxta, just to try and manage to get that med, but not finding anything. But I think it's just a mirror of what we saw when the odds went into their last. getting so much cap time but not being able to finalize it out. But no, Am's going a little low here, managing to surf out into sewer, but the odds come forward onto this mid. Getting good damage, just trying to pressure everyone in second, because they have that Uber and ALPHAGLΩCK do not. Zam's going down early in choke. It's not great for prospective push in the second. And I think we're just going into a staring contest again on second, just to send some sacks in. But ALPHAGLΩCK looking very, very aggressive here. Do you manage to find the force onto Patchouli? And now they look to refight themselves here. The Uber does get popped. Now, they are 2 players down, but they're trying to even the player numbers out. They do manage to, they're going to manage to find anyone so far? They're not. This is really bad. Finally, Flick and KN does go down. Then Rutu. The post is looking much, much better here for the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. And now the odds are going to have to run. Patchouli is caught out. It's going to go down in this exchange. It's just Sam's left, and they're wiped. That's an incredible post flight here from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. And now they're going to have a massive advantage here, pushing into second, and then probably into last.
It's kind of a miracle that way went the way it did. It felt like there was 16 missed shots in that whole Uber. They obviously wanted to go for something aggressive after those soldiers went in, and it looked like they were going to get out on the side of the odds, but ALPHAGLΩCK, they come in, they had that Sworn of Juxta, and they clean up those couple players, and they've got themselves another advantage, and they've got themselves another good opportunity to push onto last for this ALPHAGLΩCK side, already on 90% Uber.
Yeah, I mean, if I was them, I'd be calling to dot. I think this is what they're posturing to get lobby control very early on, and they might just opt to take this quick. Sirius getting himself good, positioning into 4. The Uber is popped. They're coming and trying to take the gun down early as they can, and it has finally gone down. They've got great space in this Uber, but so far no one has gone down on the side of the off. Unfortunately, two members of ALPHAGLΩCK have managed to fall in that Uber push, and they're going to have to get out. That's not exactly what they wanted, and now the Uber advantage falling back in favour of the odds, and ALPHAGLΩCK are going to have to be pushed out to mid.
Yeah, I mean, an unfortunate push there. As you said, they got that sentry gun down quite timidly, but those stickies just came back onto the point pretty much instantly, swatting them away, and then the heavy was doing a lot of damage as well. Got no soldiers up front, no real pressure in 1 or 2, and unfortunately just a bit of a failed push here, and it has allowed the odds to come back in. But headshot! Once again finding Patchouli here when they need him. Motovanu delivers here. Looks like KN might go down as well. He's just on a sliver of health, and somehow he's getting out here. He's found Rutu as well. Now they're going to just be a nuisance playing on the opposite side of the map. But the ALPHAGLΩCK, they just want to keep going forward. They want to say, okay, guys, you can stay here. We're going to go cap second point. But it's going to be a bit of a race with 4 times on the cap.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an overlook. Can they get the block that they need just in case? No, they do manage to cap out early. Am's just making a nuisance of himself in the backline, and they're going to use their Uber advantage quick here. They're going to try and find Patchouli, and they do. And this is looking like round ALPHAGLΩCK, and it is. The first round of our match goes the way of ALPHAGLΩCK. A little bit of an upset, especially after the result of that first mid.
Yeah, you're kind of expecting after that first mid to go all the way of the odds here, but did not quite go in their favour pretty much the rest of the map. Banu finding 2 drops onto Patchouli, I think, is what really puts the nail in the coffin both times on those off classes. Maybe they've forgotten how this man plays, because I feel like this is just the Banu playbook, but maybe a little off timing. We'll have to see how this second mid goes down. Both our demo man found themselves onto mid. It's some height taken early here by the blue soldiers here. And finally the bomb's coming in and going round deep here. Neither team fully committed. It's Cyrus once again, that first death on the mid, and they just have to leave here on ALPHAGLΩCK. They know it's not worth staying when your demo man dies, but Juxta going down as well may just give an opportunity here for the odds to come in. It looks like they're not super comfortable staying in. They send that soldier bomb of arms in. Maki may be going in a little too deep as well. Will he be able to get this health pack and to get out here? Going to be finding himself in a 1v1 with Mated. Will lose that out, and now there's already so much space being taken in this lobby area. Sentry gun only up on a level 1. It's basically non-existent. Second point has been capped for the odds. Blake getting a little bit of capture time here. Do they have any response? Uber comes out for the side of ALPHAGLΩCK here. Just going to be in that awkward little trade area where both teams are using the Uber, but point about 75% cap. No one on the red team really going to be able to block here, but these soldiers coming in, Am's managing to get 2. Might keep them in for now, but finally they come back in for that revive. Once again, the soldiers going crazy. Am's hitting some great shots, followed up by Juxta, and once again, miracle defense from ALPHAGLΩCK.
I'm not too sure how they managed to do that. The post-fight at first in the odds was brilliant. They managed to get KN back into that heaven area, and it looked like they were just going to be able to crunch after the Uber, and especially getting the Uber out first, but no. Even better plays coming up from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK, just managing to get capping players, and managing to force a player out in the end, and just forcing it back out. I mean, it was very, very good plays from both sides. In the end, ALPHAGLΩCK coming out on top. KN in this lobby area, looking to cause a little bit of a disruption in the back line. They're not going to find it. Vanu on the spy again does manage to find the soldier here, and there's going to be no soldiers available here for the chase for the odds here. And now here come ALPHAGLΩCK looking to try and pressure out on this mid, and it's looking like they're going to get it. They might go for the force here and try to force a trade. But other than that, that's brilliant pressure from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK.
Yeah, do a good job of taking KN out in the background at the perfect time. Barney just goes for the same play. Decloak on top of the point. This time, will find a soldier for it as well. Ams goes down in the background. He's followed up by Vanu on the spy with a pistol, not able to get anything. So once again, now this is 2 down here. So kind of the opposite of what we saw before. Uber Trade comes out in choke here, but all the kills going the way of the odds. It's going to be Hyman desperately trying to get out, but I don't think there's much chance. The head is coming out, desperately trying to get any kills, but in the end, it's just a few more seconds in that respawn. Cubachuli survives this. Hill advantage, player advantage, all on the odds here. Vanu has to find something with his snipe. He does find Flick. Yeah, that's something, but is it enough as the soldier comes barreling in onto him? Will take him down. It's 2 players now down for the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. It's going to be a hard defense, even with that scout down a Flick.
Oh, 100%. That sniper was there just to try and even out that player disad. But it hasn't quite worked. They're able to come in to this last point. They get the sentry very quickly. They haven't dealt with the stickies, but they've got great cap time. Rutu doesn't care. He does go down in the end, but a huge amount of cap time on the point here for the side of the odds. They're getting forced back out, and Patchouli goes down. This is massive here. All they've got to do is sit on point, build some of that ad, and they get to push out through second again. Phenomenal defense yet again from ALPHAGLΩCK.
Feels like they're just getting so much cap time, but just not able to fully respond or fully find those kills. It was just a soldier in 5 who managed to take down Patch, was a little caught out, and Mackie just survived for so long on that last. He had a fight in 2 that he was just so obviously losing, and then survives 1 HP and finds an arrow from Hyman, and I just don't know. I just don't feel like that player should ever really be able to survive. KN goes down as well, trying to sack his way and find some sort of miracle. Even with this ad, it looks like they're deciding to stay on last for the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. They are around up. It's probably the smart decision, as all things go, to just have a little chillax on last. It's a hard last to push out of. A lot of doors where you can get in from as a flanker. So maybe the correct decision, right?
Yeah, 100%. When you're at an odd player numbers, like it was even players, but with only an Uber advantage, probably not best. You just park the bus and last. It's a nice, easy last to push. Especially if it's evens. It's all on the opposing team to try and make plays. So you can just sit there and if you'd like all day and chip some of that time away from the clock. But they're looking to get a little aggressive through 1. They're trying to find a sightline for this sniper. Coming to lobby, peeking through 3 here. Looking to try and find a pick. Only finds the body shot though onto Ams. And yeah, at this point they're just trying to posture for a sightline for the sniper. Not looking like too much happening for the time being.
It's so much harder when they know you're there though, right? Like, now he's taken the shot and they know he's there. Cyrus is never going to peek that corner. Mackie's going to play on this height and deny 5. It just makes it so much harder. They are getting a lot of space through 5, I have to say. They're doing a good job of managing to get some pressure and get through. So I think this might be the door. Does Rutu just go for the hero shot? Does he go for that player who keeps going 5 and tries to open something up? I mean, even if he does, there's still a sentry gun, which is actually just taken down here. So that is a nice start. Matez going to be finding that is aggression into lobby by Ams. Matez will win out 1v1 now on a 7k as well, doing bits this round. And this has completely opened up a door here. Is KN trying to go in for a sack, will be taken down early on here. Uber comes out. The trade is into lobby. It's an aggressive Uber coming out from ALPHAGLΩCK. Want to try to just keep things in their court, and it worked out spectacularly. They're going to get 4 kills. Just Matez left alive. Going to take down Maki as that last surviving player. As Pat's trying to get out, chased by Ams here, finds a nice little arrow to slow him down and will manage to save himself for now here. Juxtado managing to get Ken, could get something started. Rest of the team, though, gonna chase him out. So kind of trading those kills a little bit here. And now they're 3 players down on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. And what was looking so good for them is it's taken, a small mistake. That's all it takes for them to try to get back in here on the odds.
Yeah, they're definitely greeded for that way too much. As a result, giving up a crucial time they could have had to get a second. And now they find themselves right back in the same mess they started off with. But Zam's getting a little aggressive here, taking a lot of damage, but he's still buying lots of space to hit his team through. Vanu up on the heavy side, getting lots of damage out to 2 and 5, making the odds probably going to have to choose where they come through now. But posturing, Rutu in 1, Am's going behind looking to try and find a pick here, but he's not going to be able to find anything. He goes down on that second point. And now, Zams does manage to go down in that little kerfuffle. But at the moment, it's not looking like it's going to make any major difference. We're still on last, and there's no push in.
You say that Ken goes in, the 2 scouts making pressure every 1 and 2 as well. We'll get 2 picks during all this. Now it looks like Cyrus is in danger as well here. It's going to find a nice sticky to slow down Flick for now. Ams comes in as well to try to help him, but Flick is slippery. Flick is staying alive, taking down Ams. Sentry gun taken down as well. Postured over on this left-hand side, changing things up. A lot of pressure coming through. No high control. Uber is forced out early here for ALPHAGLΩCK. Will be a trade of those Ubers, but they are just getting so much more space up top. Juxter has managed to come up on the heavy, but it's the point capture coming through for the side of the chase. Can they finish things off? They've struggled so many times. These soldiers been doing so much work. And forced off the point. Rutu manages to get on, and finally, after 20 minutes, they will manage to make it 1-1 on the side of the odds.
Yeah, it looks like that final push, things just clicked. Not so much greeding for the point anymore, looking for those picks. Because originally that Uber was great from ALPHAGLΩCK, just to sort of deny anything long enough for their spawners. But the post-fight was played much better by the odds, and they've managed to even those odds by taking it around, and we're at 1-1 coming in with 10 minutes left on our first match.
Dad jokes coming out already in our first match of the season for the odds here. The bomb coming in from Ams again, done this every mid. It's not really worked out a single time here. But it's once again Cyrus, 3rd mid in the row, caught out. Gonna have to be going and checking the demo reviews here, because the poor team of ALPHAGLΩCK have not been able to have a single mid at all, because poor Cyrus keeps being found out first here. But looks like we have a bit of a pause here. A bit of a reset for these teams. Maybe we lost, we had a tech issue, maybe a little tactical timeout. We will have to wait and see. But what did you see on that mid? What is going wrong for Cyrus and IT?
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe, it looks like there's a lot of damage coming away from the soldiers. They're getting they're finding great damage onto that demo. They might need to commit a scout, just stay more near Cyrus to deny a lot of that damage. Maybe try and out-rotate the odds. But at the moment, they've at least learned from their last mid, and as soon as that demo goes down, they go, right, okay, let's come back to second, let's just reset, make it much harder for them to take it from them, because they've been very good on these fights on second. So I think it'll go a lot better for them at this point, because even Ubers, they know how to push out of this point. It's just going forward that they have the trouble with. But yeah, I think they just need a scout parked with Cyrus if he's having that much trouble.
Yeah, the problem is you're then gonna, have one less player with your medic, and is he more important? You're definitely man. I also just think it's the soldiers maybe not getting as much pressure as maybe you would like on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. I mean, I said it in the mid. I've just seen the same fade bomb on Ams each time, and it really hasn't got anything. He's not really forcing anyone off those high grounds. Demo Man's not really pressured. He doesn't fear at all. Does Zam, sorry, during these mids from those bombs. So I don't know. Maybe you just need to put more pressure on Zams because he's kind of getting free reign on these mids and is just putting out extraordinary damage. And then yeah, as you say, the soldier just coming in and being able to kind of clean it up. So maybe you got to lock that out a little bit. But on a silver lining for ALPHAGLΩCK here, they only lost their demo man. They didn't lose a second player, and I think it gives you an opportunity to try to stay in here. But I think the odds are just really good at pushing in, getting a lot of space on grass, and trying to force you out here. Obviously, we're only on 70% Uber, so these trades that have been working so well for ALPHAGLΩCK are not going to be on the table for the next 30 seconds. Not 30 seconds. 20 seconds or so if they really want to go fast and then send these soldiers in on the side of the odds. It will be more difficult. As we say, we are going back live. Didn't lose anyone, so it's a little interesting here. Both teams coming up to these Ubers. 90% here on the defending team. Will be getting it any moment now. Is Ams bombing in, trying to find something, not able to find anything. Losing Mackie as well. Both soldiers down. Just ALPHAGLΩCK leaving.
Yeah, great for the side of the odds. Both soldiers here, and they just got to go up a second. There's no one around to create those bombs. They did manage to get great pressure in that choke, but it's not gonna. They have nothing to show for it, and we're back on last. And here we go. Someone hiding in heaven. Jabba looking to just try and create some pressure for his team to come through here. And the Uber exchange has happened. No one dying just yet. It's looking like they're trying to get through one. They're trying to push him out, but only Rutu dies, and so does Juxta. So looking like an even-ish Uber push. And now we'll just look to reset. There is no sentry gun up for the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. Maybe they can try and force this through a door if they're lucky and find the space. But at the moment, again, it's just another staring contest. That engineer does come up, but is it a little too late? But yeah, we're back on last. It's looking like nothing much is happening anymore.
Yeah, I like that pressure through 5 that they tried to send on the side of the odds. Try something new. The 1 pressure really worked out well for them, but instead of 5 pressure or 1 pressure, it's going to be spy pressure. Rutu up on the spy here. You can see what he decides to go for. Get the sentry gun down early, and you would expect now just to have a soldier just instantly bombing in, but obviously with that spy, you don't want to go for that. It's going to be decloaking. Well, not decloaking quite yet, but looking to decloak up on top of heaven here. Going to be looking for the back of Cyrus, I would expect. That's exactly what he finds. Demo Man down. Opens up a lot of space onto Sentry Gun. Once again going down, and a bit scary for Hyman. Taking down to about 70 HP during this. Luckily, Ams will come in and manage to find a pick onto Matez, who was making it a little scary there. And once again, they lose 2, because obviously Rutu on that spy is a known factor and manages to lose his life. And what was looking so good, I feel like you just tried to send some players into 1 and 2 there. You just tried to force the issue as much as possible. You're doing a good job of spamming, you get the gun, but they're just kind of refusing to be able to rotate fast and not in the position. Like, Rutu should be saying, okay, I'm stabbing the demo on 2, like, we need to get some players near 2, and it just doesn't feel like there's quite that communication on where his team should be, going to make the most out of that issue. They're just kind of stuck in lobby. And now things just reset once again. It's going to be Cookie Cutter on the side of the odds here as well. So no funny business. Might be just looking to get that sentry gun down and then go for a trade. Yeah, pressure him through 1 again. It worked well last time. Let's see what it does this time.
They do manage to find a pick here early, and they're getting good damage onto the demo. Does go down to a nice headshot, and now again, it's another 1-for-1 and back out into grass and lobby. ALPHAGLΩCK always managing to even up those fights and just take more and more time off the clock. They're doing really well in that regard. But the Uber does finally come out here 3-4, forcing the Uber out from ALPHAGLΩCK in return. Not much happening in that Uber. Maybe we might find some more combat in that post. Uber down for both sides. They're in through 5, looking to find those picks. Pachuli goes down early though. Ams trying to find the player in his heaven. Juxta doing huge amounts of damage on the heavy. Finally goes down. The picks are in favor here of the odds. Trying to focus down that point, and they're going to get it after ALPHAGLΩCK wipe. And another round here for the odds. What a chaotic last fight.
Yeah, I just wanted to get those Ubers out of the way, make it complicated, make it as difficult as possible there, and to position themselves in 5. Doesn't really matter if Patchouli goes down, right? If you can just get all those players in. Those scouts were just menacing as it sounded, standing so near point, making it so difficult, and they just couldn't really find the picks there. And you have three really strong classes who, they're basically full health. It doesn't really matter if you have the buff, if you just have that good of positioning. And now, yeah, 2-1 for the odds, kind of the bookies' favourite, pulling ahead for now, but it is not over. Vanu going to be the first one to go down here, so it's going to be a bit of a different sight, but it's the same team winning the mid once again. It is going to be the odds. Now with 5 minutes remaining, what do they do? Do they decide to keep this chariot rolling? Do they decide to slow things down a little bit? Obviously, with your Demo Man alive, it gives a bit more opportunity for you to have some staying power. Vanu coming up now as well means that this fight may not be in their advantage for much longer. Zams lobbing a lot of stickies over here is going to be doing some decent damage, or at least looking for something onto that mid. It's actually going to be Shuli surfing his way into this Uber train. Juxta is the player that goes down. Blake fighting his way into will be found. Slight overextension, but it's all the space that has been taken by the side of the odds. And once again, ALPHAGLΩCK are in the position that they do not want to be, and that is their own last point here. Vanu up on the spy, has been working thus far. He needs to get something good. It's just Zam spinning around in circles and he can't find the backstab.
Oh dear, he was really looking to try and make that
lives
pick
though.
On. He does live in the end. I was really trying to get that demo pick to happen, but in the end, nothing comes of it. The fact he still lives there is massive for his team. Looking at this last, because at this point we were looking at this after last from a position where they're ahead, and now they're down. They might need to try and think, especially with the timer ticking down. They have to now try and push out of their last on an even as the time ticks down. Not too sure how they do it. Vanu just in lobby, giving great information for his team. Maybe waiting for them to decide to push a door, and then coming in afterwards to clean up, or maybe getting a backstab from a late player coming in. He's eyeing up either the demo or the medic here. See what he can find. The Uber charge does come out. He does get forced, and Vanu going down for it. Let's see if it was worth it. They are trying to posture their way in through 3 at the moment, but nothing coming of it at the moment. Rutu getting decent chip damage in, and now he shoots just to commit. He's on Hyman Slayer. Hyman Slayer gets the pop afterwards, and they're getting collapsed on the lobby. It's all about if the odds can get out of lobby with as many players alive as they can, because ALPHAGLΩCK are bleeding players. They've just got their spawn wave, but is it going to be quick enough? Rutu coming in, getting a great pick onto his opposite man, and now they're just looking to force the issue. They have more players, but the damage numbers are not looking good for them at the moment. Cyrus managing to push them back out with great pressure from his stickies. And now we're back at looking at the lobby. That looked very scary from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK for a bit. But
it still might
the
be.
Odds, it still might be. They're coming back in. They've got great cap time here. They're just going to take it. Another round for the side of the odds. That fight never ending, it seems. Looking to thrive on all this chaos they're creating, and they take that last round. And 1 minute 50 left on the clock. It's not looking at ALPHAGLΩCK are going to make much of a comeback.
No, I think you would be correct there. Just playing on a nice edge there, though, were the odds, playing with, some experience of Prem winners, as quite a few of these players are. And yeah, looking really, really solid with that last push, just coming in and out. Zam just being a really crucial element of that, managing to stay alive. Kind of got chased once, and I think it was a bit of a distraction play to have the rest of his team come back through and support him, and then managed to survive during that one. They come back in, they get their soldiers up from 1 and 2, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Get a lot of cap time, and really well played from the odds. They're doing much better when they're trying to make these pressure plays, trying to push through 5, pushing through 1 and 2. It's looking really, really solid for them. But finally, ALPHAGLΩCK gonna win a bit of an inconsequential mid, but will be capturing up this mid point, as be something to say, yeah guys, we did something. And they did do something. They got around, to be fair, out of this odds team, who they're looking like maybe our best team in the div potentially.
100%, and they seem to still want to try and take the round if they can. They're gonna have to roll this new second very quickly, and they do make a statement first, taking down this soldier, and they manage to find the force, but the force coming out back from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK, and now they're gonna try and take this forward with pressure, and they just might take it. All the players going down from the odds. KN on the direct hit does manage to find a scout, but it's just him left. They're going to have to take this point quickly if they want to roll this and take this last point, but I don't think they're going to have enough time. The spawners are going to be coming up soon for the side of the odds. Jabba putting up a phenomenal defense here to make sure no one pushes through last, and that is all she wrote for this game. I think ALPHAGLΩCK managed to crack the issue of their mids far too late there. They were much quicker and much more aggressive than the odds in that final mid. Definitely catching them by surprise and finding the lion's share of the picks. But ultimately, it's not going to affect anything in the end. And our first map on process goes the way of the odds.
Yeah, when they were in kind of that chaos and that mess a little bit, playing that tug of war back and forth, they looked a lot stronger on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. But they were losing those mids, they were getting forced out second, and then you're on to last, and it's just making it so much harder to try to hold things. And the odds just kind of had their number after a while and were looking just a little more solid. And I think it just came down to winning those mids and being able to push things a little bit further, because it took them 20 minutes for it to be 1-1, right? And then the odds just looked stronger. They just had more opportunities to push last. And I kind of, when ALPHAGLΩCK were 2-1 down, I would have much rather just seen them try to make that second hold work. Like, really just take that trade into them aggressively and, like, not go for those soldier sacks of, like, oh, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Because I feel like Mackie and Am just, while they're doing good damage and they have had, like, hero opportunities and they've been the reason that they've had some good last defenses, they were also dying at super inopportune times when it feels like maybe an Uber trade would have been better, because Hyman had, like, a really good time of, like, saving his players. And I think they should have played off of him having a really good game and played out of that scout combo in that particular opportunity. But, you know, that's just my opinion. We have some real factual logs on the screen, and the logs say that Matthew did a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, he definitely seemed to be an anchor for his team for a little bit. He was managing to find a lot of bombs, maybe not getting kills, but at least setting up for his opposite number and people just to come through. But no, he had a great game. But I do agree, Hyman Slayer had a phenomenal game. Having way more heal uptime was probably the reason why they were kept in it so much. Especially on those last fights when it all looked lost, with like players going down and it being very chaotic. Having heals there still evening things up. But no, I'm inclined to agree here. Hyman Slayer had a much better game, and I think their combo should have utilized that a lot more.
Damn, that's why Mackie did it though, because he's got 24% health. I guess a lot of that is just him playing on last, playing that door. I knew he played it really well. A lot of jumps in, winning a lot of DM fights that were quite crucial here as well. 3 more Mediguns for Hyman Slayer as well. I mean, unfortunately, I guess some of them have forces or strained situations. Obviously, we saw those 2 drops on patch, both by Vanu on Spy and Sniper, kind of got them that round that they did get on ALPHAGLΩCK, but not really able to get much more. They tried to get that Spy to work a couple more times, but alas, it was not enough for them on that first map of process. However, we got another map coming up. We have Sunshine here at 90. What do you think about this map? What do you think of the odds of these teams on this map?
Let's see what we did there. No, what I think it'd be more interesting because where the process you can just walk at each other over across the point if you wish. You can't really do that as much on Sunshine. It's a very rotational mid, and you definitely have a lot more choices as you come out, either coming through Valley or coming through Choke, and then deciding, do we want to take point pressure first, or do we want to try and out rotate and send our soldiers onto Bell Tower and Calf? I think it might be a bit different. I don't think the mids will be as rolly. I think we'll get to see a proper mid fight take hold, because on a couple of those mids on process, They would realize that ALPHAGLOCK would realize we're a player down, we're going to come back. You don't really have that luxury unless you're very, very slow on Sunshine. So I think it'll be very interesting. I think I think ALPHAGLOCK have cracked, at least on process, what they need to do to be quicker. So we'll see if they're just as fast and keep pace with the odds here on this map of Sunshine. But no, I think it might play out a little differently.
Yeah, I think that's a good analysis of this mid, actually. I think you see a lot less of the time that your medic is just running out because you lose a demo man, for example, unless you have that fast soldier bomb who just comes in onto him, right? Yeah, I think a lot of the time you're going to see a bit more rotation, but you got to be careful though, because you can just have fast bombs come in. You can have scouts just running under the point and can completely dismantle any plans you had for a mid if you are not prepared for it, if you are not careful, if you do not have eyes in the right place. And I worry for ALPHAGLOCK that they just maybe don't, maybe a little inexperience from a couple of these players. They haven't been playing together for as long. They don't quite have the chemistry. They might not have those players in the right positions. But we can also just see X Factor coming in sometimes. We have a lot of experience on AMS here. He's going to be calling a lot of these mids, and I think he could be cooking a little bit. I think Mackie looks pretty strong, and I think if he can come alive on these mids, we could see something quite different here. But it is enough yapping here. It's enough theory crafting from us in the booth as we are going to our second map of your game against the odds against ALPHAGLOCK. It is going to be Cam on Zams here, rolling out Valley versus the choke from Cyrus here. No one going initially super fast. It's just going to be the soldiers fading round. Mackie in onto the opposing side. It's Ams onto Pat. Can he find the second rocket? He cannot. It's Flick coming in to clean things up. It's now 2 picks onto a demo man and a soldier here. And it looks like they just want to keep pushing things, as it is going to be Matez getting 2 picks. Hyman now in danger as Zams and Patch come in, finish him up. And that's really, really nice for the odds. Going to be keeping full Uber advantage, taking mid, taking second. You can't really ask for much more.
No, you can't. I mean, while the table is definitely flipped here, and ALPHAGLOCK looked much more aggressive, much quicker on those mids, it didn't actually amount to a whole lot of anything, as they just ended up getting wiped, and medic died, and now they're staring down the barrel of a very, very scary gun. It's a difficult point to hold on Uber Disad is Sunshine, even worse to push out. But they're going to take this quick here through right, managing to find that sentry, looking to try and get the trap set up on one of the doors. They've got great cap time to start off with, but going down, the scout going down is not looking great initially. Just not looking to matter. They're just going to run to the point and take it. They had everyone pushed in on that left-hand side and just had all the space in the world to walk on the point.
I'm going to have to ask Cyrus what he was cooking. So he has just 3 clumps of stickies on point. Like, usually you put them all around the point, so the scout has to take a little more time to clear them, right? But he just had 2 clumps defending the point, and then 1 defending kind of the side where a player might come in, and it just took 2 shots to clear all the stickies, and I think that's just a bit of a mistake because it just lets cap time come out so much earlier. Obviously, it's very difficult when you don't have a real setup, but I think it's just something that let them increase the speed of getting that pressure. But it is both soldiers bombing on either side here. No picks going out initially, but it will be a rocket fan from Matez, but gonna be saying hello on both sides here, and they are gonna be playing that rotational mid that you previously mentioned, where they just kind of play a little bit of ring around the rosy here, but not feeling super confident are the side of the odds. They decide to back it out for now, get themselves held back up, and will be coming back in, and we've seen them have success on last when doing this. We'll see how this translates onto the mid. They were taking a lot of capture time on the side of ALPHAGLOCK. Can't quite find it. Do push them back. It's Mackie sacrificing himself for that point capture. It's going to be an Uber trade coming out as well. We have a super extended fight come out here. And what was looking so good for ALPHAGLOCK is going to turn so horrible as they have to escape as this Uber fade. It is just Hyman and Cyrus left alive, and it looks like neither of them will be surviving for much longer as the onslaught of blue soldiers comes in, wiping them out of existence.
What an extended mid. That was something that was quite something. Originally, very good pressure. They managed to get first, perhaps committing too much to it. And speaking of, the point nearly goes the way of the odds. great cap time initially. They might try and want to try this because they're 3 down. Lots of players coming up through on this left-hand side. But the heavy doing a lot of damage, maybe will be enough to keep them off the point for spawners. Just looking like it. Flick coming forward, finding great meat shots onto the combo. Can he take down the medic? Yes, he can. Finds enough space for his team to walk on the point, and that's all she wrote. That mid was the key really to pushing onto Lars so quickly. But yeah, that was certainly a different round. We've not seen a roll happen just yet that badly. So very different round from what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I was surprised it kind of went the way it did. Obviously, they get that capture time. They had a lot of space up top initially on ALPHAGLΩCK, and then kind of had to lose it when Mackie went down. Then they decided to go for that aggressive trade, but felt like half the team wasn't ready for it. Felt like the scout and combo are all good, but the rest of the team are not, and then they just chase so hard here. So they're not chasing this side as Mercedes goes in, finds the air shot onto Hyman, and that is going to be mid over for the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. It's cleanup duty. It's find whoever you can. It's Rutu down. It's KN down. It's Ams in, trying to find Flick here as well, trying to find these stragglers, and now all alone, Patchouli in choke. Can they find that final shot? They can. Jux are taking him down, and the cleanup crew has truly come through. It is just going to be Zams fighting in behind, trying to make some chaos, trying to make things awkward as Mates coming in here, getting some good damage onto Juxta here. It looks like Zam's luckily going to escape this one, but we might be coming up to a second mid here as players rolling out for both teams, but it looks like ALPHAGLΩCK, with those better spawners, locking out Choke as well with the Demo Man, should be winning this one. Now this is a good opportunity for them, 40% Uber advantage in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, that mid was very different. As soon as Hyman Slayer went down, the entire team went, right, we're just going to go forward. We're gonna see what we can get. And they kneel right the odds in response. It's great aggression, but now they want to take this Uber advantage very quickly here. They nearly get Hyman Slayer, but he managed to get the pop in the end, and now here they come forward. Only 1 down so far on the player of KN, but they have a cheeky scout going behind, causing issues. Rutu hiding in cap, maybe trying to find something for his troubles, but not looking going to be able to. And now it's a massive full anti-gear for the side of the odds. That Uber not really getting what they wanted to from that early aggression from soldiers. They do manage to pop the Uber though and find Mackie does manage to find a trade. Nearly. So, but no. Brilliant pressure here, managing to just take some of that speed out of the odds push out, managing to find that Uber or that force very quickly. And now Vanu in behind, seeing what he can do. Gets great damage onto his opposite man, maybe can take him down. No, down to 1 HP. Not gonna matter though. Pick up the packs, he does go down in the end. More space being bought here from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. They're looking to try and take this point here. Great pressure being applied there on this plat here. But I think at this point, the Uber is popped out. They're chasing these shots back onto their last. But I think they're just going to have to take the second point and settle for that. But here come the odds. They know they have this Uber advantage, and they're pushing back onto plat. And they're just going to push it back out through CAF. And I think at this point, ALPHAGLΩCK need to be running to their second, because this threat from the Uber advantage they have here is pretty substantial.
Yeah, it's a big threat as they come in through Cafe here. Mackie trying to go for the hero play, trying to get on to that medic, but truly holds strong. Couple players taken down pretty low on the side of the odds, but all going to survive during this. So now, with Mackie down as well, with 50% Uber disadvantage, they will be moving their way in through Valley, meandering their way, trying to get in, as it is Hyman Slayer only on 60%. Juxta trying to go in, trying to do a hero play. Am's going down during all this as well. They will force the Uber, but is it 2 players too many going down here? There's a lot of pressure coming out this left-hand side. It's going to be KN in. KN with 2, doing absolute work here. Hyman nearly caught out, 97%. Needs to find someone to beam. It's already on point. Finds the Uber. Am's in, doing good damage here. But are they able to find any kills? They need to try and get something. And Zams is just hiding by some boxes. Now the Uber's faded. He comes in and does a good damage onto Mackie. His team coming in, trying to follow up. It's messy on both sides. Players here, there, and everywhere. And by some miracle, they are going to hold here. on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK.
That Uber just being enough to keep them in it. That was incredible from holding that Uber for so long, and then able to recommit to buy the time for the spawners. But no, I thought it was over when KN slaughtered half of ALPHAGLΩCK, picking up the demo and the scout and the solid. I thought it was over, but no, that Uber doing exactly what it needed to, buying time, and now we're back on second with it. The odds looking to try and force their way in through choking and through gap. I don't know if they'll manage to find anything for their trouble, because that Uber advantage they once had has been eaten away. But they are forcing the issue. They are on this plat, bullying their way in, but unfortunately they have to pop. Mackie with a high bomb, looking to try and get the Uber back, maybe from himself, but no! Patchouli manages to hold on to his Uber. Nerves of steel, he doesn't pop. And now they're going to cap the second point and look to come forward here. Take lobby. Are they going to take this Uber through dungeon? There is one down. And they take it quick. Sam's getting the lion's share of the Uber so far. They're trapping at this left-hand side. Now swapping to that right. And good cap time initially. Is it going to be enough to find a capture? It's not at the moment. Now we're just settling in for a post-fight. Only 1-for-1 so far. Zam's not finding the damage. He needs to just get his scouts, though, doing a lot of work. And it is back to even players. Rutu managing to try and find a lot of damage, but again, it's going to just it's not going to be enough. And now it's going to be a player out here for ALPHAGLΩCK. Looking to push out non-stop action from these two teams. They do love a good scrap, and they're going to come forward here, just trying to pressure each other out, vying for a bit of space, vying for some breathing room. And now Mackie going to try and bomb into Valley, try and find his opposite number. It's not going to happen. And now we've settled. Finally, we can breathe out, and we're back on mid again.
Finally take a chill hill here. Yeah, as you said, it's been a lot of back and forth. These teams really trying to constantly vie for that Uber advantage, vie for that position. And I kind of liked what they were trying to go for before, when they just managed to build that Uber in time, and then they wanted to go for the trade with Vanu. But unfortunately, Hyman, a little uncharacteristically so far this game, does drop his pocket scout here, and they couldn't manage to find a player. But somehow, once again, as miracles go, they're finding a lot of them, as they did manage to keep that last hold. It is now AMS on the spy, but that doesn't matter, as the Ubers are getting traded out here, resetting the position just a little bit, and Vanu going down as well, Mackie going down as well. For the side of ALPHAGLΩCK is going to make things very difficult. Now on opposite sides of this, Lazarus going in aggressive, trying to find damage, but it's a mistake, as he will find himself in the respawn queue, and now it feels like it's only a matter of time until the odds capture this one out. So a bit unlucky. I feel like that play of having the spy could have worked really well. Just kind of that odd position, that odd timing to try to get them in, but they did decide to go a little more aggressive on the odds. They decided to go for that Uber trade into them, and it worked out ever so well, as Vanu did get dropped in that Uber, and then they were just caught in a between a rock and a hard place at player disadvantage for the side of ALPHAGLΩCK, and they're going to find themselves at 3-0 up here for the odds. We'll see if they can make their way back in on ALPHAGLΩCK. Still 18 minutes remaining. Still all to play for. They just need to find a solid midding to get a little momentum.
Yeah, it's all about the momentum. And nearly finding the takedown. And it's looking like a wipe. Suddenly all this damage comes in. Only Mackie left alive. He doesn't manage to find anything for his trouble. And that's a full wipe. That might just be the role that they need to get another round. That is an incredible mid here from the side of the odds. Just finding all the picks they need, keeping their med, keeping Hyman crushed into that valley, not being able to walk out. And I think that was the key for them to just walk over the point and get the wipe. And now we're here on this last point. Nothing much happening at the moment. The Uber has finally come out here from the side of the odds. And it's looking like it's going to be the capture going the way here of the odds. And yeah, that Uber, all it needs to do is tie people up, keep as many players alive as they can, as there's no Uber to answer. But no, that's a very clean round that all just comes from the mid.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impossible situation, right? If you've got two soldiers on the last before you even get a spawner, it's just so hard to get out. They tried to get the pyro going, but it's not enough. And yeah, as you say, distraction from the Uber making players go to awkward places just makes it ever so difficult. And now from that 3-0, a 4-0 makes it feel even more difficult here. But we are going to be looking at Cyrus, a man that needs to have a lot of impact on this mid for it to go their way. But it's going to be once again Cyrus and Mackie, first people in that death chamber. Patchouli lives on a sliver of health. Juxta nearly finds the pick onto him. Could have saved them a lot of heartache. But in the end, it is Vanu, final player to fall there. Will be getting Zan, so maybe gives them an opportunity to try to get some sort of setup on last. They're not going to be bullied quite as much as they were in that previous round. Not spawn camped quite as hard. However, Patchouli, small advantage. It looks like they want to use it as they are jumping in deep here on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. Will be quickly dealt with will that soldier, but now we've got a bit of an awkward fight on this right hand side in lobby. Mackie trying to find someone as well, but will be found, and you have to think if they play their cards right, they should win this on the side of the odds.
Yeah, I think that maybe probably a lot harder to find that point. And now, as a result, they're going to lead. Rutu coming on this night, they expect to be hold up on this point for a while. But based on previous experience, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they want to try and take this trade and come forward here, as they've done always. Mackie coming up through dungeon, finds himself on plat alone, and they've managed to push the odds out without even needing to use. Or rather, yeah. And now we're back on mid. Then we might be looking for an aggressive fight here. Mackie taking low, back onto platform. Flick trying to find the kill onto the soldier there, but not managing to find anything so far. And now Rutu getting the headshot, forcing the Uber. And is this Uber going to come back out from Patchouli? Patchouli not milking that to the very, very last second. And now this Uber is looking so much better for the odds. They do manage to find Hyman Slayer. And are they going to find Cyrus? They are. All they need to do is take the second point and roll us on to last. And they will win. But Juxta coming up huge, taking down Patchouli. But is that going to be enough? Vanu coming out, getting a little bit of chip damage onto the demo. And it's looking like they're just going to try and hold lobby here. And that's all she wrote, at least for the time being. Very, very well done from Juxta with that heads up to kill Patchouli on that last point. That maybe saving the round.
Yeah, it's the only way you stay in it is trying to get that med pick there, right? You get those spawners up in just about enough time here, but once again, they're on their last. And like, what can you do if you're ALPHAGLΩCK here? You've got this sniper staring you down as well, holding down one corridor. You maybe just want to go for this round reset, but then you're worried you don't have time to make that comeback, so you want to go for something aggressive. It is just such a tough situation for them, and with Vanu going down, I think that sealed the fate, at least for this initial push. Maybe they could have pushed on that tiny dot advantage that they did have, but they were losing it as well as time went on, and I think nail in the coffin there for that at least initial attempt. I think they're not going to stop here on ALPHAGLΩCK. We've seen that they're a very aggressive team. They're a team who likes to go deep, who likes to try to trade Ubers. I don't know if they'll be able to this time. Need to be careful of that sniper getting with a lot of space over onto this left-hand side. A door for Vanu to try to work off of, but not Vanu, Rutu. But now we have the SVS going down. Who will win this one? Neither sniper finding the shot. Oh, it's a cheeky angle from Vanu. Can't quite find the headshot. It's Rutu in there actually finding the body shot onto Vanu here. And now the rest of his team making their way in here. A nice shot will send that soldier packing. Uber trade comes out. Flick actually going to be going down here, so maybe not the player you would have expected to lose their life during all of this, but it's going to send the odds packing. It was not in their plan to be losing their pocket scout.
No, I mean, that looked so good initially that the health numbers wasn't great for ALPHAGLΩCK, and they lose Vanu and that SPS. But no, good last hold after that trade, and we're back at least in lobby for now. Slowing things down again, maybe trying to make space for that sniper to try and find something. At the moment, not much to find anything. Soldiers, they're coming in aggressive into lobby here, hoping to try and catch the odds unawares, and so far they've found Patchouli, but they're pressing their way onto this last. They can't quite find anything yet, but will it be enough? Will the two players here be enough to try and cap that last point? Sam's going down. It's just Flick left. Flick maybe trying to get a pick just to try and salvage that fight, but they not being able to find it. And now we're back on their second. Very, very good aggression there from the side of ALPHAGLOCK.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity for them as well to make their way forward. Going to be having that uber advantage, getting second for free. Still going to be waiting to Flick to come up as well. And Rutu on the sniper means no scouts available. So those soldiers extra deadly. KN going down as well. But actually, it's Jubba finding his way onto Hyman Slayer. So no medic alive. That uber advantage they did have, it's completely lost. Rutu survives an onslaught of 2 players. Will somehow manage to survive for that long. Barnu finally cleaning up, but it's too little, too late, as the rest of this odd team going to be making their way onto second. Huge uber advantage now in their pocket. Hero play coming out to manage to get Hyman Slayer and yeah, just keep the completely switch the tides of this round.
100%. And you know what? Despite the fact they have this massive uber advantage, they're still opting for this sniper in the lobby. Juxta finding the drop onto Patchouli. Incredible job from him. And now everything just looks a little bit different now. This now invites ALPHAGLOCK to come forward, but they have lost 2 in the exchange afterwards. But an incredible pick from Juxta, just hiding in that dungeon area, running forward and taking down Patchouli.
I think I was watching Ratatouille for a second there. A French rat hiding in the sewers takes it down. The medic there, and it's just hero play after hero play coming out to keep ALPHAGLOCK in this here. But time is ticking here, 90, 10 minutes remaining, and you know, you don't mind this too much if you are the side of the odds. They're not really in a rush to see things stabilize, to see things happen. And as we're talking about stabilization, there's no stabilization happening as there's just an uber used in through lobby. Finds 2 picks though, 2 soldiers down. Is it enough? Really, Rutu going to be finding another headshot, managing to escape himself through choke here as well. Not going to be you know, the worst thing in the world is maybe making a little time for these players to come back up, but it is the side of ALPHAGLOCK making their way in onto mid, getting some good rockets onto these players in choke, but not finding any kills here. Now with that uber disadvantage, it should be the momentum, or at least, you know, that control going the way of the odds here, and looks like we're going to take it, 90.
Yeah, they're looking to come in through CAF now. They popped the uber early, hoping to try and catch people, but ALPHAGLOCK, perhaps sensing that they're going to use through very early, managed to get out so far. Everyone's leaving through CAF. That uber advantage has now melted away. They will soon have it themselves. People come forward, hoping to try and get that force on the drop. Hyman Slayer does get force, going down to about 40 HP, and now they're going to stay around to hunt for that post-fight. But at the moment, it's not looking as fruitful as they'd like. It's going to be even. There's going to be even players here. They've lost 2. They might lose another in Valley. Mackie coming forward here on to this midpoint, but they've got a back cap. They've got someone behind, but it has been blocked out. Rutu going to be finding that pick onto Hyman Slayer. Sorry, and now Rutu maybe hoping to find a demo there, but gets taken down himself. Players across 2 different points here, and now we're back to second. Mackie bombing in through Valley. Ams trying to find that pick on Patchouli. Can't find the air shot, but Patchouli manages to surf out through Bats with his life. More players up for the side of ALPHAGLOCK here. They're hoping to try and take this pressure forward, but Flick coming back down into this dungeon himself, hoping to try and find something, but will not. And now it's going to be a second capture here for the side of ALPHAGLOCK.
Finally giving themselves an opportunity to try to push in onto last. Only 2 players up. Spawner Zan will be coming up momentarily, but is this really enough to keep yourself in? You need to get these last couple of players who are doing a great job of keeping this point alive here, keeping their streak of not losing a single round on this map alive. And maybe it's not going to be that way for much longer as an initial pick comes onto the Scout Uber. It's forced out onto the Odd, though. That invulnerability going to be keeping them in for a little bit longer. It's a chase onto Cyrus. Will find him. It's a chase onto Hyman. 3 players down here. These 2 scouts need to do work. That's a good start to getting that first pick here. Followed up by Mackie on Soldier, who we know has done so much. And Mackie comes in, finds a 2k, and they will find themselves around here on ALPHAGLOCK. Finally. Feels like they've had so many opportunities to get things going, and they finally do.
Yeah, it's what's so nice is that sometimes you go 4-0 down, you go, oh, you know what, I'll throw in the towel, I can't be arsed no more. But no, ALPHAGLOCK refusing to give up and finding a great round. of a very scrappy and chaotic mid fight. And now we're back on mid again. Zam's opting to come through the valley here, and it's looking like nothing too much on this initial mid exchange. Nothing going on. Am's going down first. Mackie trying to find a pick to keep his team in it, but if there's 3 down, it's not looking great. Jubba managing to find the scout in the end despite going low. It's just Hyman Slayer left, fighting for his life, and gets taken down in the lower lobby. But they've not even captured mid yet. They're coming forward onto second, but no one's captured mid. This is buys ALPHAGLΩCK here plenty of time to come forward, and a great air shot found on Patchouli. They've lost their Uber advantage and their med. They're going to have to try and get out to second and try and salvage something, and it's going to be an Uber advantage building for Hyman Slayer. I mean, what an air shot.
Yeah, there's been quite a few air shots there. You saw KN on that mid as well, just playing from Bell Tower air, to scout, and he just is completely out of the fight during the whole rest of that mid. That means one less player on your demo man, one less player to help him stay alive, and that's one of the reasons they stayed in. But I think, yeah, as you said, Jabba and Matez are doing a really, really great job of just cleaning up on a lot of damage. But now we should be looking the way of ALPHAGLΩCK, because they have pushed their way onto second at least a little bit, not really able to get an inch onto that point though, as is the rest of this odds team coming in, fighting valiantly, but they are on a small Uber disadvantage. Really want Hyman Slayer to be getting this Uber, really wanted him to be building a little faster, because it's evening out pretty fast. Now the rest of his team able to get a little more forward, as they are a bit more comfortable that the Uber is in their hands, but has evened up. This Patchouli going to be getting his Uber momentarily. And now it's like you have these small Uber advantages and these small moments on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK that I feel like they just need to keep pushing something of it. And once again, losing a player early are ALPHAGLΩCK, but they are not losing their Uber. That is still in hand, as Simon has managed to hold on to things. They wanted to get an aggressive trade here on the odds, but it does not go their way whatsoever. And now they're scrambling, trying to find kills, to try to find a force here, and they're just hold up in this grass area. Ivan is just desperately trying to not use this Uber, as there is just so much spam coming in from every direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal that Hyman hasn't used Uber yet. Originally, that trade was hoping they could find that Uber charge, but again, not finding anything for their troubles. And now they managed to come forward with a threat with Uber. But what I like from both teams is the aggression when they don't have Uber. They know that they can at least try and find picks and hopefully try and find a force before the Uber comes up. But now it's looking like ALPHAGLΩCK are going to just take them to mid, and we're back on second. Oh, incredible Uber here coming out from the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. And maybe we're starting to see a bit of a comeback here. As the odds go down to 3 players, it's big player advantage here, and no Ubers to speak of for a last push, so they might just try and dry this.
Yeah, I think they absolutely will. Unfortunately, losing Barney is going to make things difficult. Flick being a menace as well, just fighting Mackie here is doing a really good job of keeping them away, but they did a really good job on ALPHAGLΩCK of playing off of that player. They did get found an early pick onto Root, who knew he's the player on the flank, just instantly push it, and finally that aggressiveness from Cyrus pays off as he just comes flying in, Uber in tail, and manages to get an instant pick, and they just take absolutely all the space on ALPHAGLΩCK from that. But it only takes one loss on the other side as well, obviously losing a player early of Vanu, and they're not able to trade out onto Flick, has once again allowed the odds to come back into things, but it looks like they are setting up for an aggressive Uber or something aggressive and silly inside of Cafe here, as Uber comes out, well, maybe hoping someone overextended, but I don't really think they have the damage to do anything here, and it's a bit of a wasted Uber. Will fund the trade, but it feels like surely Hyman is going to be hunted down during all this.
You'd think so, but they're doing a great job of keeping him alive. Hyman lives by going out through the cafe there. And what's even stranger is that the odds lose 4 in this initial exchange, and it invites the pressure right back onto their second. And now with Mackie coming up, they're probably going to try and take this dry fight to last. And coming through this right-hand side, bombing high, not finding anything at the moment. is going behind point. Can he find Patchouli? Yes, he can. He finds the pick onto their heels that they need for everyone else to come forward. But great damage coming back out here from the odds. And it's just Juxta alive. He's going to get on that point. Maybe it's all... No! Oh, I thought that we might have enough time to get on the cap. Just enough time to capture that out from under their nose, but it's not going to be enough. And somehow, some way, the odds claw back onto their second.
Yeah, and there's only a minute remaining, right? I think we had some hope that maybe they were making their way back, and they were really showing a valiant effort in this last third of the map, but not really able to get much more going. A few good attempts, but thwarted away by the odds here, even when they were making a few mistakes. They will be capturing up this midpoint. It's going to be uber advantage towards the side of ALPHAGLΩCK, and they are positioning themselves to go forward, to go aggressive. Actually, is it Kritzkrieg coming up from Hyman Slayer? It's crit onto Cyrus, finds some damage, but no, it doesn't look like it is going to be enough. It's only going to be Zams dying during all of this. After the crits has faded, they do find one more as well, but they're playing Ring Around the Roses as going in through Cafe are the side of the odds here, trying to make their presence on second known, as they do use this Uber, and Patch maybe just trying to keep his logs a little safe here, and he doesn't want to die one extra time when he doesn't have to, as finally the curtains close, and it is the odds getting this 6-0 point victory.
Yeah, a very, very solid map played by both sides. ALPHAGLΩCK probably feeling the burn on quite a few of these just mid-fights not going their way and getting rolled, or situations where they've just got people in odd places and they're losing rounds off of silly mistakes. Like on the third round, Am's coming up on Spy, wanting to get a bit of the action himself, but as a result, he leaves his team open with like a player down, and they manage to find the picks and go forward, and Ams is just left running forward, trying to find something, but it didn't matter. Yeah, completely different outcome to what I predicted at the start of the map. Looking very, very dominant for the odds. ALPHAGLΩCK again clawing back some momentum and around towards the end, but it's too little, too late for them. But no, a great game all round, and was definitely a thrilling one to watch.
Yeah, I mean, so back and forth, right? These teams did not want to slow down for 1 second. That always makes for a thrilling, game experience. I think one thing I very quickly want to talk about before we see the logs, because it was a really, really nice play that we didn't get to talk about. Vanu managed to get in behind at one time when Rutu was just respawning. Rutu was behind doing some shenanigans and made it a bit difficult. And he comes in, gets that spawner in, and then is just pressuring from behind and just allows his team to kind of coalesce in both choke and in Valley, and just get so much space from that, and then manage to get another player as well. And I thought that was a really nice heads-up play to go in when that spawner is coming in, and then just kind of come out when your team is pressuring in those doorways, and got them. I think it was the round that they got in the end. But you've got to shine the spotlight a little bit on Flick here. 30-11 with top DPM. But Vanu, at least as a DPM goes, not far behind. Quite surprised. I felt like it was Zams taking over that game a little more, but I guess I kind of underestimated how much those scouts can really do.
Oh yeah, Flick leading the charge through these Uber ads and these Uber pushes, getting the picks that he needs to. I mean, there were several points where he get 2 or 3 Ks in an Uber or an Uber post. It was definitely his team's MVP this map, but I think it was a solid performance in general from all of the odds. And lots of just playing catch up for most of the game. They took a commanding 3-0 lead very early, so from there it's going to be a lot harder for you to make up the ground, especially in like damage and logs on the side of ALPHAGLΩCK. But no, nonetheless, a thrilling game to the very end.
Yeah, a great one overall. I think you weren't expecting ALPHAGLΩCK to come in and win this one. I think you were expecting it to be a little bit of a wash, but I think they played up to par with them. I think they just really struggled on the mids. I think on the first map we saw Cyrus going down a lot of the time, and then second time it was just those soldiers and that demo man of Zam just doing a lot of damage and kind of collapsing a little better. But there were so many moments of glory from ALPHAGLOCK during all of this. I think if they can kind of maybe slow things down, I think they have a really good chance of building during the season and improving and potentially making it all the way to those finals potentially. I think this team has a lot of potential, right? I see a lot of good things from this team. And yeah, we can hope for the rest of the season that we have games as good as this because yeah, that was some thrilling stuff, non-stop action.
Oh yeah, I reckon this team will do very well. AMS is a senior player in this scene and is a great TL and shot caller. I reckon they'll definitely make playoffs and maybe an appearance in the upper or lower bracket finals. That's my prediction at the very least. But no, very very solid. I think hopefully they're going to build on this and have very solid performance going forward. There's lots of demo review, lots to talk about. At the end of the day, it's only week 1. There's 6 weeks left in this season, so we'll see what they make of this first game and apply the changes they need to going forward into their next.
Yep, and if you do, want to see how these teams progress, see the games for this ETF2L season 52. We will be covering it the entire season, so don't forget to follow. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from me, 90. Unless you have anything else,
Nope, nothing else from me.
that'll be all from us tonight here on Essentials. Thank you very much once again to Ben for producing and 90 for casting with me. A pleasure as always, and we will see you again soon.
Good night.